Ethan had been gone for half a year on a mission so secret his own family believed he was working overseas in construction. He returned home in silence, carrying only a small duffel bag and the heavy weight of what he had done for his country. When he opened the front door, the air inside felt cold and foreign, like he was stepping into a stranger's house. On the kitchen table lay a stack of papers neatly arranged with his name written in bold letters. At the very top the word divorce cut through him sharper than any enemy blade ever could. Next to the papers sat his wedding ring, the one he had left behind for Anna when duty called. Ethan stood frozen, hearing only the sound of the refrigerator humming in the empty house. He whispered Anna's name, but no answer came, only silence pressing against the walls. He dropped his bag and sat at the table staring at the documents as if they were written in a foreign language. The woman he loved, the woman he had bled for, had ended their marriage in his absence. Before he could even process the betrayal, red and blue lights flooded through the curtains. Heavy fists pounded the door, followed by voices barking commands to open up. Ethan barely had time to stand before the door crashed open and armed officers stormed inside. "Get on the ground now," they shouted, weapons pointed directly at him. Confused and exhausted, he complied, his body reacting to training more than thought. Cold steel cuffs snapped around his wrists as his neighbors peeked out of their windows. They dragged him outside barefoot into the flashing chaos of sirens and cameras. At the station, he sat across from detectives who spread photographs across the table. The pictures showed him standing near buildings he had never visited. Other shots placed him outside Anna's workplace as if he had been stalking her. Each image was stamped with dates and times, painting a story he knew was false. He tried to explain he had been overseas on assignment, but they demanded proof he could not give. His alibi was locked behind classified walls, and he was forbidden from revealing the truth. To the police, he looked like a bitter husband abandoned by his wife and spiraling into obsession. They read Anna's statement aloud, accusing him of being unstable and dangerous. She claimed she had lived in fear of him, that he had followed her, that she needed protection. Ethan clenched his fists, his jaw tight, as betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound. He thought of the nights he had dreamed of her smile while sleeping on dirt floors across the world. Now she had turned his love into a weapon against him. Days bled into nights as he sat in his cell, listening to the whispers of other inmates. Some mocked him, others pitied him, but none knew the truth of who he really was. Then one evening a man in a black suit entered his cell without knocking. The guards stepped aside, treating him with a respect that unsettled Ethan. The man dropped a folder on the table and said quietly, "You were never supposed to be here." Inside were surveillance photos, not of Ethan but of Anna meeting secretly with another man. The man was identified as a corporate spy already under investigation for treason. The so-called evidence against Ethan had been manufactured by the same network. Anna had played her part, willingly trading Ethan's name for money and protection. The agent warned him, "You can never speak of this mission, not in court, not to anyone." Then he left as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving Ethan in stunned silence. The next morning the charges were dropped and he was released without explanation. The police offered no apology, only cold stares, as if they still saw a criminal walking free. Ethan stepped into the daylight, his body free but his heart heavy with rage. He returned to the house only to find it stripped of everything that mattered. Anna was gone, her clothes, her photos, even the furniture missing, as if he never existed. On the bedroom mirror she had left a note scrawled in lipstick, "You were never enough." Ethan crumpled the note and tossed it aside, his resolve hardening. He began moving silently, gathering what resources he still had from his old contacts. He shifted funds he thought were long gone, opening accounts she did not know existed. Through back channels he learned Anna and her lover were under watch but still walking free. Every detail fueled the fire in his chest, but he forced patience to guide him. He rented a small apartment under a false name, blending into the city like a ghost. At night he trained his body again, sharpening the edges dulled by despair. During the day he worked small jobs for cash, avoiding attention. Weeks turned into months until one morning headlines splashed across every paper. "Corporate spy arrested in massive sting operation, foreign ties exposed." And in the photographs was Anna walking beside him in handcuffs, her head down in shame. Neighbors who once whispered about Ethan now whispered about her betrayal. Friends who once believed her lies now avoided her name entirely. Ethan never showed his face, he never gloated, never confronted her. Instead he watched from a distance as her world collapsed piece by piece. The house she stole burned in foreclosure, the accounts she had drained by authorities. She stood in court trembling as the same judge she had once manipulated sentenced her. Ethan walked past the courthouse that day, unnoticed, blending with the crowd. He felt no joy, only a quiet sense of balance returning to the world. His daughter, who once believed her mother's words, reached out with trembling hands. She apologized through tears, saying she had been lied to all along. Ethan held her close, whispering that none of this was her fault. For the first time since returning from war, he felt the warmth of family again. Together they built a new life far away from the ruins Anna left behind. He worked in private security, using his skills without drawing headlines or suspicion. His daughter studied hard, determined to make her father proud after years of doubt. Anna faded into the shadows, her name tied forever to betrayal and scandal. Ethan rose quietly from the ashes, not as a broken man, but as one forged by fire. The night he found the divorce papers would always haunt him. But it also marked the day he realized survival was not just on the battlefield. It was in the silence, the patience, and the quiet victories no one else ever saw. And while Anna screamed lies in court, Ethan's truth lived on in the life he rebuilt, stronger than ever.